Welcome back to page 121. In this first full video of Independence Games Week on my channel, I'm going to take a look at what sets Clement Sector apart from other 2x6 science fiction role-playing games. There are many things that separate Clement Sector 3rd edition from other Cepheus or other 2x6 role-playing games, but there are three specific ones that I really feel should be called out. So going to the big beautiful book, Clement Sector 3rd edition. Again, this was sent to me by the folks from Independence Games. I want to say thank you again to them for that. We're going to take a look at the second colonization period. This is important because it's what leads up to the immediate game. And let's see. The wormhole is the big deal. The wormhole becomes known as the conduit. The conduit connects Earth sector to Clement sector, which is some 60,000 light years away. The only way to reach one from the other, is through the conduit, a stable wormhole that is really been a boon for humankind as they go ahead and they push the boundaries of exploration. The problem is, on April 15th, let me get the exact date, April 15th, 2331, put a halt to the colonization and leave Clement Sector and Earth Sector once again separated by over 60,000 light years. On that day, the conduit suddenly collapsed. Those who witnessed the event say that the wormhole was there and then it was suddenly gone. So the game we're in with this set of rules is something like a little over a decade after the wormhole collapse. So very much present in everybody's minds, and everybody remembers what the wormhole did and was, and the ramifications that you're dealing with. Now, Clement Sector had a bunch of sub-colonies. They were starting to establish their own colonies, but now suddenly they're cut off from Earth. So now if you happen to be invested fully in Clement Sector, you're fine. If you happen to be invested fully in Earth Sector, you're fine. But if you were relying on the trade between the two, now you've got a problem. And that's kind of the whole point of the campaign. Now, you can also play this before the conduit collapse, where you have access to Earth Sector and Clement Sector, and that would be a very fun way to play this. But the rules have us playing after the conduit collapse, which I think is a great time to play too. There's still a lot of investigation and speculation as to why the conduit collapsed, what happened, what caused it, is there any way to reestablish it? And those could all be good MacGuffins for games. The next thing that really sets Clement Sector apart is aging. I love this. One of the things where other 2x6 games fall apart is the kind of ignoring the benefits of medicine. Since my parents' generation, we're living longer and healthier lives for the most part than they were, and so on and so forth. Now we're in the far future, we have genetics and things, and suddenly we can have longer lifespans, and that's what this game brings out very nicely. So you can have the parent age table, as I like to call it. So basically, if your character was born in a tech level 10 or higher planet, tech levels are a little different in Clement Sector than they are in other games. Tech level 10, 11, 12 are the higher ends of the tech level spectrum. So if you're born on a planet that was tech level 10, 11, or 12, and most player characters will be, you have received age-related benefits. In other words, you have some genetic stuff that makes your apparent age lower than your actual age. So here we have the apparent age at tech level 10. Your actual age is 100. Your apparent age at tech level 10 is only 40 to 45. At tech level 11, 30 to 35. Or tech level 12, 25 to 30. Oh, to be as spry as I was when I was 25. I'm sure a lot of people join me in commiserating about that fact. So the idea that age is really different can add a massive dynamic to your campaign. And that's one thing that I'm still trying to figure out how I can integrate into other 2x6 role-playing games that I play without changing all the fundamentals. So as you see, this is a fundamental shift here. And then the third thing that I really feel sets Clement Sector apart is Starship FTL travel, faster than light travel. How the heck do you go from system to system? How do you do it? Well, in this game, you use Zimm points. Zimm points were found by a delightfully named scientist whose last name was Zimm. I'm trying to find his first name. And And let's see, the Zimm drive. Let's see, I'm still finding. I just was reading this over last night. I just love that guy's. The guy's last name is Zimm. You know, if it was Smith, oh, we're at the Smith point. Oh, okay, then no offense to anybody Smith. My last name's Miller. You know, we're at the Miller point. Well, those are common, kind of boring names. The idea of Zimm. Plus, I always think of Invader Zim. I'll have to ask John Watts if that's what he was thinking of when he wrote up Zimm points. But I love the idea of Zimm points. So basically, it's their little baby wormholes. You can activate your Zimm bubble, and the particles get sucked into Zimm space, and you have an ingoing Zimm point and an outgoing Zimm point. So if I want to go from Earth's system and I want to go to the next closest system, I go to an outgoing Zimm point, and then I head in and I travel through the outgoing Zimm point, and I'm there. And then the distance I travel will vary how long it takes me to get there. And then once I get there, my civilian ship needs 8 hours to recharge the batteries in order to create another Zimm bubble. A military ship can do it in as little as 5, but there is some intrinsic limitation as far as that goes. Even if the Zimm points are relatively close together in normal space, you still have to wait the minimum time for your batteries to charge. So Zimm points are pretty neat. There's an outgoing and an incoming, and you can't reverse them. You can't go into an incoming and leave. It doesn't work that way. But then you can travel that way, and then there are also Zimm points that are in system. So if I want to go from near Earth space and I want to go out past Uranus, then I would use an in-system Zimm drive, Zimm point to take me there. And of course, there are chance of mishaps and things like that. The kind thing about mishaps in Zimm space is you just get precipitated back to normal space. You don't tend to blow up as you do in other 2-6 games. The bad news is if you're going through a Zimm point that leads past an uninhabited hunk of space and you pop out of Zimm space there, you could be in some serious trouble. And then we got a nice chart, and this is really what changes a lot of stuff in this, how fast you can travel and how fast information travels. So if I'm covering 1 astronomical unit, my time in Zimm space is 1.44 seconds. 10 astronomical units, 14.40 seconds. 77, which is the distance to the outer reaches of the system, 1.85 minutes. So from the time I'm leaving near Earth space to going to the outer system, and when I arrive at the outer system, it's only 1.85 minutes. Now, granted, I've got to wait another 8 hours before I can use it, but if my business is just between those 2 points, mission accomplished. If I want to send on information or anything like that. So it's not impossible for corporations to have Zimm points that they would use just to send information to and from more distant places within the same solar system. So I think that was really cool too. Now, if I'm going to jump 2 parsecs, which is the maximum I can jump, it's 168 hours or 7 standard days. We're very familiar with that for being in jump space, Zimm space. The other thing I have to mention in conjunction with Zimm space is that only ships up to 4,999 displacement tons can actually use Zimm space. That, of necessity, shrinks down all the ship sizes because anything bigger than that just cannot precipitate itself into Zimm space. So there's another element of Zimm space that is way different than other 2-6 space games I've played. So that's a real quick look at what's different about Clement Sector. The overarching rules, by the way, are called Clement Sector, and this is the big rule book. This would be the one you'd need to create your characters and how to do combat and everything, and all would come out of this book. There's a sister book to this called Earth Sector, and Earth Sector has the information about Earth Sector, but doesn't have all the rule information and everything. You would need this big, beautiful book for all the rules. I am going to be taking a look at Earth Sector later this week, so that's going to be part of this. But that's all I've got today on page 121. I just wanted to show some differences between Clement Sector and other 2-6 space games, and some stuff that really sets it apart. We also have uplifted animals, all trans, androids. We have all kinds of fun stuff that you would want to play in any kind of space game, and it's all available within here. So I'm going to take a look at some more of that stuff later in the week, but this is just kind of a primer of what makes Clement Sector so interesting. But that's all I've got today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please leave a comment too. I try to reply to comments whenever I can. Don't leave cryptic comments because sometimes I don't reply to those because I'm really not sure what's meant. So if you think it's cryptic, it is. Also, take a look at the Patreon. Help me out there. Like and subscribe. I'll put a link to this big, beautiful book that you can get through Drive-Thru RPG or through the Independence Games website. So I can put a link to both of those. But that's all I've got today on page 121. I thank you for your time, and I'll see you next time.